I thought the meet with Oberlin went well. It's kind of a nice little meet before we got ready for the championship season here. A lot of people were able to compete that hadn't traveled to some away meets, so that was fun to see some different people swim. And and we did a different meet lineup. So we did a high school dual meet lineup, which is a little different. So it was fun. I think it was a fun way to kind of end our dual meet season. The whole season kind of points to the UAA Championship meet, and so we're tapering down for it. Based on how people are looking in the water, I think they're going to be ready to go. And so much of what goes into the UA meet is all up here in their minds, right? And if trust the process and just kind of let things go and swim loose, they're going to be fast, right? If they get worked up and get kind of caught up in the kind of environment of everything, then sometimes that can be a detriment to them, and so it is absolutely, I think, behind probably the D3 national meet. It is the fastest meet in the country in Division III every year. And looking at the psych sheet that we got earlier this week, it will be just as fast, if not faster, than it ever has been. And so it's crazy good competition. It's fun. It's a fun meet to watch. But like I said, I think that if we go and if we have fun with it and focus in on what we need to do, control what we can control, everything will be fine. Everything's going to take care of itself, right? They put in the work. The work is there. It's done. The hay's in the barn, if you will. And so it's just time to go now, and it's just time to have fun and to be there for your teammates and to be excited about individual swims and to be excited about relays and diving and all that, And so I think that it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fast, but it'll be a fun meet. It always is.
My name is Ethan Chuang. I'm a third year studying finance as well as economics, and I'm on the men's swim and dive team. I was with a small mergers and acquisitions advisory firm. So we worked with a lot of, smaller companies, if you will, kind of advising them through the process of whether they wanted to buy another company or sell their own company. And I thought it was a really cool process, especially because, you work with a lot of smaller companies, so mom and pop shops, and these are very momentous occasions during their timeline, and so kind of being able to help them out has been a really cool experience. I got to experience a ton of different industries, so I wasn't just set kind of in one particular area. So I got to do stuff in tech and industrials and even kind of manufacturing and healthcare. So a whole slew of different areas that I got to experience and kind of see how that process worked. And so my job a lot of the time was we were given kind of criteria to kind of look for these types of companies, and so I'd do my best to kind of find them, contact them, see what their interest was and where they were in that process in terms of if they were willing to sell their own company or not, and things along those lines. Definitely something I'm interested going forward. Kind of brings me to what I'm doing this summer. So I'll be at KeyBank in their investment banking division and their industrials group. So I'm super excited for that. But it's definitely something I want to continue forward. I think what's really cool about this upcoming summer is I'll be working with KeyBank, which is obviously a little bit bigger, and so kind of working with bigger companies as well. And so I think in that aspect, kind of sizing up is a pretty cool experience. And just in general, to continue what I've been doing, and kind of learn a little bit more in depth on how to go through the process, because a lot of it is just from the outside looking in. So once you're within the actual process, I think that's pretty cool. And so definitely something I want to continue. I joined my freshman year. I think I got a little bit lucky. I just kind of saw it on campus groups and figured why not give it a shot. And so from high school and things like that, I've been kind of always invested into the stock market. I always thought it was pretty interesting. But once I was in the fund, I think it was really cool because they kind of went give us a process to kind of go through. So it taught us a lot about the basics of how the stock market works. How do you value a company? And so those were a lot of things that I hadn't experienced before, and I hadn't gone through these classes yet. So it's kind of a little head start for me. But it was super interesting, and I think once you start working with actual money and you make actual pitches on how to get your own ideas out there and your own ideas, which I think is really cool, it makes it a really cool experience. And I think Overall, it's been great. Like I've managed to kind of work my way up through the ranks. There's kind of like a system that goes on, and so kind of looking back on my time, I think it's kind of cool to see how far I've come in terms of the knowledge and the people that I've known. I will say one of the coolest parts is meeting other people who are also in Weatherhead. I think that Weatherhead's kind of one of the smaller schools here at Case, but once you kind of get accustomed to everybody around you and get to know everybody, it makes it a lot better of an experience. So easily I could say the people. I mean, like, I know it's a very like cliche answer, but I mean, in all honesty, it is. I can credit a lot of that to like the swim team. Like when I first got here, like I think it's hard for everybody, especially I mean, like we were kind of a little bit more distance with COVID, but having that base of like, I mean, our team is like 100 people large now, and so having a base of like coming in and just knowing 100 people, like that's great. But like I've mentioned, like as I've kind of gone through the semesters, like I've got to meet more people from like different walks of life, and so it's kind of cool to see everyone's background and kind of where they come from and where they want to go, more specifically, and especially how like Case is helping them along the way. And so really, like I credit it to the people here. Like I think really putting yourself out there and like just meeting new people has been a great experience, and so definitely that.